Most used luxury shoppers are walking straight into a financial trap, and they're doing it with a smile on their face. You think that badge on the grill makes you look successful? Think again. In 2026, blind ego is the fastest way to flush $20,000 down the drain on a machine that will be worth scrap metal by next season. While your neighbor is bragging about his deal on a fragile German lease return, he's actually financing a mechanical nightmare that's one sensor failure away from a total bankruptcy. Today, we are stripping away the marketing lies. We are exposing the 8 luxury sedans that the snobs are ignoring. Machines that are built like tanks and engineered to hit 500,000 miles, while everyone else is stuck in the service lane. Buying the wrong car today isn't just a mistake. It's a 10-year sentence of repair bills and regret. You want the truth? You want the logic? Then pay attention, because the used car lot doesn't forgive stupidity. Let's begin. Number 8. 2019. Lincoln MKZ Hybrid. This is the luxury sedan nobody brags about, and that is exactly why the value is still sitting there. The 2019 Lincoln MKZ Hybrid looks too calm, too mature, and too much like something a careful older buyer would choose. So used shoppers keep walking past it on their way to louder badges and worse ownership math. In today's market, most of these still land around $14,200 to $15,700 depending on condition and trim, and that is a very strong entry point for a premium sedan that can return over 40 miles per gallon and still give you real seat comfort. That is the whole angle. This car is for the highway commuter, the empty nester, the older driver, or anybody who wants a silent cabin and low fuel spend instead of fake sportiness. The reason it works is that we are focusing on the hybrid, not the hotter gas trims. This is not the one you buy to impress people for 15 seconds. This is the one you buy because it stays cheaper to run, smoother in traffic, and easier to justify every week you own it. Put it next to the same money German compact luxury sedans, and the whole video starts making sense. The German car may look fresher, but it often brings more repair anxiety, tighter packaging, and a much thinner margin for error once the miles pile up. The Lincoln gets discounted because it feels too grown up, not because the day-to-day ownership story is bad. That is exactly what we want in a video like this. Even owner feedback has leaned very hard toward comfort and reliability, which matches what this car is trying to be. It also helps that the cabin still feels like a genuine luxury space instead of a dressed-up economy car with a mood ring for a dashboard. It feels built for people who actually drive long distances. On inspection, you still need to act like an adult. Check how the battery behaves, make sure the gas-to-electric transition feels clean and smooth, and test the screen, camera, and climate functions, because technology problems can make any luxury car feel old overnight. Read the tire wear too, because uneven rubber still tells the truth on a calm car. Then look for service paperwork, because the best used hybrid luxury cars nearly always come with boring records and boring owners. And as solid as this sedan is, the next one gives up the fuel economy story and brings old-school full-size comfort at a price that still looks almost wrong. If you want luxury car advice without the badge fantasy, subscribe now. We break down the quiet bargains, the strong engines, and the years worth trusting. Number 7. 2018 Cadillac XTS 3.6. This is the big Cadillac nobody flexes online, but older buyers quietly understand exactly why it still makes sense. The 2018 Cadillac XTS with a 3.6 V6 is one of those full-size luxury sedans the market keeps punishing because it feels too much like an old man car and not enough like a sharp little European status toy. That is your opening. Most of them sit around $14,150 to $14,800, depending on trim and condition. And that is a wild number for a sedan with this much room, this much highway comfort, and this much quiet power. It is for the buyer who wants wide seats, easy entry, a relaxed ride, and a cabin that does not ask you to crouch into it like you are climbing into a fashion accessory. The right way to shop is simple. Stay with the naturally aspirated 3.6-liter V6 and the traditional full-size luxury angle. Do not turn the V-Sport into the hero. That is not the point of this video. The value is in the standard car, the one that gives you space, visibility, and a low-stress ownership story at a price thousands below most foreign rivals. Compared to the same money entry luxury sedans, a lot of those smaller cars start to look thin, cramped, and much more complicated than they first seem. The XTS is not trying to feel edgy. It is trying to feel plush, quiet, and comfortable. And for a buyer using his own money, that can be the smarter call. What buyers miss is that a car like this can make every single day easier, because the doors are wider, the seat height feels natural, and the whole highway experience feels less tiring after 2 hours behind the wheel. That kind of ease matters much more than image. On inspection, start with the infotainment response because laggy screens get annoying fast. Then listen for front-end noises, judge the suspension over rough pavement, and look underneath for rust if the car lived where roads get salted. Pay close attention to the cooling system too, because even a big, comfortable sedan can become a bad buy if it was owned by someone lazy. This kind of car rewards buyers who care less about image and more about the shape of the whole ownership story. And the next sedan is lower volume, less fashionable, and mechanically cleaner than most people expect. Number 6. 2017 Acura RLX. This is the luxury Honda nobody remembers until they drive one, shut the door, and realize the market has been sleeping on a very smart sedan. The 2017 Acura RLX sits in one of the strangest corners of the used luxury market because it offers the kind of calm, clean ownership story buyers say they want, yet almost nobody shops for it on purpose. In 2026, most examples still land around $14,000 to $16,300 depending on package, which is a strong price for a full-size premium sedan with a 3.5-liter V6 making 310 horsepower. That price weakness comes from one simple truth. The RLX never built heat. It sold in low numbers, did not create much badge excitement, and got overshadowed by louder names inside and outside the Acura lineup. That is exactly why it stays affordable. That kind of low-volume invisibility is painful for resale and wonderful for disciplined buyers today. This is for the buyer who wants Acura reliability without TLX hype, without German maintenance drama, and without some fake sporty story getting in the way of daily life. The standard 3.5 V6 is the center of the recommendation, not the more complicated sport hybrid. This car works because the formula stays direct, mature, and easy to understand. You get a strong, naturally aspirated engine, a 6-speed automatic, front-wheel drive, and a cabin built for real commuting instead of parking lot applause. Compare it to the same money Audi A6 or BMW 5 Series Temptation, and the whole point sharpens fast. Those cars may look trendier on day one, but the RLX usually gives you a much calmer path once age and miles start stacking up. It is quiet on the highway, roomy in the back, and smooth in the way grown buyers actually appreciate after an hour on the road. That is why this car matters. It is the kind of sedan you buy when you want luxury to make life easier, not noisier. It also helps that the RLX still feels like a genuine near flagship inside, not a dressed-up compact with a fancy logo and a tighter backseat. Still, you have to inspect it with discipline. Start by driving it long enough to feel whether the transmission stays smooth once fully warm. Test every electronic feature you can, because a quiet luxury car starts feeling old in a hurry when switches and screens stop cooperating. Look for timing cover seepage under the hood, read the tire wear carefully, and demand maintenance records that show the previous owner treated it like a serious car instead of a disposable lease leftover special. If the cabin stays silent, the powertrain feels clean, and the paperwork is boring, this is one of the easiest premium sedan buys left in America. And the next one is even more forgotten, with rear drive flavor and a more old-school feel that a lot of sedan buyers still quietly miss. Subscribe if you want the truth before you spend your money. We are building a place for buyers who want calmer ownership, better value, and fewer regrets. Number 5. 2018 Infiniti Q70. This is the sedan buyers stop shopping because it looks dated, and that is exactly why it deserves a hard second look. The 2018 Infiniti Q70, with a 3.7 V6 lives in that odd space where the market sees yesterday's premium car, but a smart buyer sees a naturally aspirated luxury sedan that still feels substantial, planted, and seriously underappreciated. In 2026, most of them run around $14,550 to $16,350, depending on trim and condition, which is strong value for a rear-drive-based sedan with a 3.7-liter V6 and a traditional 7-speed automatic. The reason it fits this video so well is simple. It never tried to become a tablet on wheels. It still feels like a real sedan, with a long hood, a low roofline, and the kind of highway stability buyers used to expect before every premium car decided it needed a smaller turbo engine and more software menus. This is for the driver who wants a real sedan stance, natural power delivery, and a cabin that feels more like a proper touring car than a social media prop. The 3.7 V6 is the whole play here. It feels linear, strong, and familiar in a way a lot of modern turbo competitors do not. Compared to the same money German midsize sedans, the Infiniti starts making a lot more sense for a buyer who wants fewer repair surprises, less plumbing, and a much easier ownership story once the miles climb. The Q70 also benefits from low demand. It looks old, the rear seat is not class-leading, and buyers chasing fashion moved on years ago. Good. That is how value survives. It also still looks expensive from 50 feet away, which helps the bargain feel bigger. It gives up trendiness and gives you a more honest mechanical story in return. And that trade is exactly what many used luxury shoppers should want. The inspection side still matters. Start with transmission behavior and make sure the 7-speed feels clean, not lazy, not clumsy, and not confused. Check for oil leaks, listen for driveline or wheel-bearing noise at city speed and highway speed. And read the cabin carefully for abuse clues, because tired buttons, smashed seat bolsters, and cheap tires usually show you exactly how the car was treated. Pay close attention to tire condition too, because the chassis will tell on itself through the rubber. When the body is straight, the driveline feels healthy, and the ownership story looks calm. The Q70 becomes one of the easiest overlooked luxury sedan buys in the whole market. And the next one is bigger, richer, quieter, and depreciates like it offended the entire luxury world. Number 4. 2018 Genesis G90. This is the Korean S-Class alternative nobody wants to admit is a deal, and that is what makes it so interesting. The 2018 Genesis G90 with the 5.0 V8 is the kind of sedan that should look untouchable on paper, yet in 2026 it still hovers around $20,600 to $21,900 at fair purchase money. That is almost absurd when you remember what this car originally cost and how much comfort, silence, and equipment it still brings to the table. This is the "why is this so cheap" flagship, and the answer is simple. The badge still scares away luxury snobs. Buyers see Genesis and hesitate because they think flagship money should only buy German prestige. That badge bias is your opening. That mismatch between price and presence is why it belongs here. The G90 is huge, loaded, and smooth in exactly the way a big luxury sedan should be. This is for the older executive buyer, the long-distance cruiser, or the person who wants true big car isolation without stepping into a same-era German flagship that can demand a lot more repair courage later. The right version to anchor here is the 5.0 V8, not the Turbo 6. The V8 makes the whole car feel more natural, relaxed, and believable as a flagship. It is the cleaner story, and for a video like this that matters more than chasing spec sheet drama. Compare it with the same era Audi A8, BMW 7 Series, or Mercedes S-Class Temptation, and the value gap gets very hard to ignore. Those cars may carry more image, but they also carry far more pressure once modules, air systems, and maintenance complexity start stacking up. The Genesis often gives you a lower stress path into the same general world of big seat luxury and highway isolation. It also gives you flagship space and presence for what many buyers are now spending on ordinary mid-level family crossovers, and that is a crazy place for this car to live. But this is still a flagship, so you inspect it like one. Do a full electronic sweep. Test every screen, seat function, camera, switch, and driver assist feature. Check the cooling system history with a serious eye, because a big V8 still hates lazy care. Pay attention to wheel damage, because big luxury sedans love to reveal carelessness at the corners. Then read the full service record and make sure the story feels consistent, not patchy. If the cabin feels tight, the drivetrain stays smooth, and the features all behave, the G90 becomes one of the most underpriced luxury sedans in the whole used market. And the next car gives up some size, sharpens the balance, and keeps the long-haul value story very much alive. If these real comparisons save you from one bad buy, stick with us. We cover smarter sedans, longer-lasting setups, and the details most shoppers miss. Number 3. 2016 Lexus GS 350. This is the Lexus sedan people skip because they think they should either buy an ES or go German, and that lazy split is exactly why the GS 350 keeps making sense in 2026. A clean 2016 GS 350 usually sits around the high teens to low $20,000 range at dealer fair purchase money, with rougher high-mile cars dipping lower, and that still buys a lot of serious sedan for the money. This is the Lexus for buyers who want the Japanese luxury reliability story without the softer, more floaty personality of the ES. It is for the driver who still wants a real sedan feel, real balance, and a car that feels planted instead of pillow soft. The whole case starts with the powertrain. Stay with the GS 350, not the smaller turbo 200T, and not the rarer hybrid story. The 3.5-liter V6 is the engine that makes this car such a strong buy because it keeps the ownership story cleaner, simpler, and easier to trust over the long haul. The GS also feels like a proper sedan underneath you. It has the kind of body control, highway stability, and mature steering feel that makes some same-money rivals feel nervous, overstyled, or too digital. Compare it with a same-money BMW 5 Series or Audi A6, and the emotional difference is obvious. The German cars may look flashier, but they usually ask for more courage later when complexity stacks up and repairs stop being theoretical. The GS fights back with a calmer ownership case, a quieter reputation, and the kind of durability buyers actually keep. It is not a cheap car because it is bad. It is a cheap car because too many shoppers either want the cushier Lexus or the more fashionable badge. That middle ground is where the value is hiding. On inspection, start with water pump signs or any cooling system residue under the hood, because no good V6 deserves lazy cooling maintenance. Then, listen for suspension wear over patched roads, because a car with this kind of chassis will reveal tired parts fast. Test the infotainment controller and make sure the system responds the way it should, because luxury only feels luxury when the small functions still work. Look through the brake history, because heavy premium sedans eat money when owners ignore the basics. Then study accident repair quality closely, because panel fit, paint mismatch, and odd tire wear all tell the story if you are paying attention. If the car feels tight, tracks straight, and has a boring paper trail, this is one of the most believable long-haul premium buys left. And the next sedan is newer, softer in personality, and even easier for most buyers to live with every day. Number 2. 2019 Genesis G 83.8. This is the luxury sedan that feels expensive, looks expensive, and sits on lots like buyers think it is some kind of compromise, which is exactly why the value is still there. The 2019 Genesis G83.8 usually lands somewhere from the high teens into the low 20,000s, depending on trim, miles, and seller optimism. And that makes it one of the strongest modern luxury values on the market right now. The reason it works is simple. This car gives buyers near Lexus calm without Lexus pricing, and it does it in a shape that still feels formal, rich, and properly grown up. That weak badge pull is the whole opportunity. People still do not chase Genesis the way they chase BMW, Mercedes, or even Lexus, and that fear keeps the prices lower than they should be. The version to focus on is the 3.8 V6, because it is the least complicated G80 powertrain and the cleanest long-term ownership story. That matters. We are not here to shop for brochure bragging rights. We are here to find the version that makes the most adult sense when the car is 6 or 7 years old and the warranty is not carrying the conversation anymore. This is the sedan for the quiet commuter, the mature buyer who wants a rich interior without making a public statement, or the driver who wants something that feels special on the highway without becoming a maintenance hobby. Compared with the same-money German 6-cylinder sedans, the Genesis starts looking very smart. The German option may win the badge contest and lose the peace of mind contest. The G80 goes the other way. It gives you a composed ride, a hushed cabin, and the kind of everyday comfort that makes long miles easier instead of more tiring. It also compares well against newer mainstream premium sedans that still cost similar money but do not feel as substantial once you shut the door and drive them. My inspection checklist here is simple. Do a full electronics sweep, because this car is loaded enough that little feature failures matter. Check the cooling system history with a serious eye, because a nice interior never cancels neglect. Then make sure the transmission feels smooth from cold to warm, because a healthy luxury sedan should feel settled, not sloppy. Read the tire age as well as tread depth, because old rubber can ruin a good first impression. Finally, demand service records, because the best G80 deals nearly always come from boring owners with organized paperwork. If the car feels solid, the cabin stays calm, and the story looks clean, this becomes one of the easiest premium bargains to justify. And number 1 is not the most exciting sedan in this whole video, but it may be the easiest recommendation in the entire list. If this kind of straight car advice helps you avoid overpaying for the wrong badge, subscribe now. We are building a channel for buyers who want smarter picks, stronger value, and fewer regrets. Number 1. 2018 Lexus ES 350. This is the luxury sedan people call boring until they need one that simply works, and that is exactly why it finishes at number 1. The 2018 Lexus ES 350 is not rare, not exotic, and not remotely interested in pretending it is the coolest thing in the parking lot. Good. That is the advantage. In the current market, fair purchase money sits right around $20,400, while real listings can start lower on higher-mile cars. And that puts this sedan in reach for buyers who want a broad, no-regrets answer instead of an emotional gamble. The whole case is the naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6 and the smooth automatic behind it. That combination is the center of the recommendation because it gives the ES the exact personality buyers should want here. It feels quiet, mature, and consistent. This is the sedan for daily use, low-fatigue commuting, easy resale, and the kind of cabin calm that makes 2 hours on the highway feel lighter than it should. It is also for the buyer who wants luxury without making basic ownership complicated. That matters more than a trendier shape or a bigger screen. Compare it against the same money newer entry luxury sedans, and the Lexus usually looks less dramatic on day 1 and more convincing 2 years later. Many of those newer alternatives ask you to buy more image and trust less hardware. The ES goes the other direction. It gives you fewer surprises, lower stress, and a much stronger chance of still liking the car once the honeymoon ends. That is the deeper reason it wins this list. The broadest no-regrets luxury sedan is not the one with the strongest badge heat. It is the one most people can actually live with, afford, and trust over time. This one fits that definition better than anything else here. On inspection, keep it simple but serious. Look for front cover seepage under the hood, and do not ignore small leaks just because the paint shines. Check suspension condition over rough pavement, because even a durable sedan gets tired parts. Read the tire wear closely, and look at service records, because rubber and paperwork tell you more than sales talk ever will. Test interior electronics one by one too, because a luxury sedan should still feel complete when the small features matter. This Lexus is number 1 because it is the easiest sedan here to trust with your own money and your own long-term plans. It does not win by being exciting. It wins by being believable. Click on the next video because the smartest luxury sedan buys are still hiding in plain sight. Subscribe for stronger picks, smarter years, and fewer expensive mistakes before the flashy badges fool more buyers into paying too much for less.